Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday number 50. Today's topic is the difference between a teacher and a guru. Questioner: what is the difference between a teacher and a guru? Okay, a teacher is one who can send information to you about a specific topic. For instance, you have school teachers and university professors. They have the intellectual information and they have some experience. They, through their teaching, through their talking, they deliver this information to you if you're taking a course with them, as an example. A teacher can also be a thing or a situation. Like, for instance, you are in a group situation, or a certain circumstance happens, and you experientially learn something, like you're learning a lesson about yourself in that situation. So then you could say, well, that situation was a teacher for me. Another type of teacher would be someone that irritates you or upsets you in some way, or that you have some resistance to. Their manners, their behavior, their personality in some way or another is triggering a part of you that you don't like about yourself, and you're probably denying it or suppressing it. So they're like a mirror to show you aspects of yourself so that you can learn more about yourself. Another type of teacher would be an aspect of nature. Nature is a great teacher. For instance, you could be looking at the river, and if you look long enough and watch long enough, you will learn something about life's patterns. You will learn something about life in general by looking at the river. You could look at a fire, stare at a fire long enough, you might learn something. You could study an animal, how they behave from beginning to end. There's a lot of lessons to learn from that. So these nature aspects are great teachers for us. You could, for instance, you could decide to plant a vegetable or a flower and stand by and for the season observe how it grows and how it interacts with all the elements of nature. There's a lot to learn. So these are great teachers. If you're a student, this is the most powerful thing, is that if you're a student with an open mind and you want to learn, then actually you're the one who tracks the teacher. So teachers are everywhere, all over the place. In every situation there's a teacher if you're a student and who wants to know. So you're the creator of your teachers. And teachers are attracted to anyone who has the desire to learn something. So, great. Be a student and you'll find your teacher. Be clear about what you want to know and you'll find your teacher. It'll come. Now, a guru is a different level of a teacher, completely different place. So a guru operates not on the level of reality where you're learning about a specific topic about the relative world. Guru is operating on the level of your own higher self, your source of who you are. So the lessons you learn from guru is only about your higher self. So you'll only be reflected something about the truth of your beginning, if you could say beginning, your source, where you come from, who you are. So the meaning of guru is the bringer of light or the dispeller of darkness. So what is a guru? If a guru is in the human form, like a person, a human being, then that guru is holding the knowledge of that unity consciousness. They see with the vision of oneness. They don't see duality, they see oneness. So they have this kind of, I would call it like they're glued together in their consciousness. They don't fall down to the level of ego, personality, and duality thinking. They don't drop down. They are able to hold and sustain that connective truth. So when they speak, they're coming from that state of unity consciousness. And when you're in their company, something's being rubbed off of them, their state, into you. So a guru is one that has, they know their permanent me. They're in contact with that permanent me. So they're always breathing, thinking, experiencing, and they're radiating. So that's the other thing. So they're so in that state that there's this, because of the glue part, the connective part, which is interesting, like anything that comes together, like a sperm and an egg, and there's an explosion, so that's unity. And then it's creativity. So when you're in the company of a guru, and if you're ready, and only if you're ready, like you could come in the company of a guru and not be able to receive this, how do I say, this shower of connectivity, of oneness. But if you have worked yourself to, and like you've tired yourself out with the duality state, and you're tired of suffering, and you've done a lot of personal work on yourself, you've done some yoga lifestyle practices, you've been meditating, doing yoga, you have an intense desire to be free of this mind that is creating so much suffering for you, and that finally when you get in the company of a guru, your vibrational level is at such a level that as soon as you're in their company, it's kind of like they inspire you to take that leap. You're leaping from duality consciousness into oneness consciousness. And it's just all you have to do is be in their company. That's it. Because they're not operating from their intellect to tell you something. They're being it, so they're radiating it. So just by contact, you get the contact high in their company. Now, how long are you able to hold that? Well, that's dependent on you. Like if you've done a lot of work on yourself and you're in their company, then there's a transmission that takes place, and you'll be able to hold that transmission for a little while, depending on the purity of your nervous system. So you have to do some work to be able to hold that. Otherwise, you still at least, if you meet this person who's in that state and you have contact with them, at least you will know what that unity state of consciousness is. So you go away and you do your homework and you do your lifestyle practices and all of that, and eventually you will raise your own vibration to that vibration until you can hold it yourself. So that's a guru in a human form. And I highly recommend meeting them so that it gives you inspiration to continue with your work, your inner work. But a guru not in a form is a more difficult thing to experience, because it requires you to do a lot of internal work. And you have to be at a very high vibration to be able to recognize this pearl. There's something very precious. Although Guru is everywhere and in everything, that consciousness, that unity state of consciousness is absolutely everywhere. It's totally available for you. But are you developed enough? Are you acute enough in your attention? Is your desire strong enough to be ready to recognize the Guru when the Guru shows up? That's why it's so difficult. So that's why in the Indian tradition, we have gurus in form, so that that helps the transition from form to non-form. So sometimes we need to be around a physical human guru long enough until we are able to hold that truth in ourselves, and then we realize that we can leave the physical guru, and then we have guru consciousness. It's what's called guru consciousness. And then that means wherever we go, we see guru. So that's the big difference between a teacher and a guru. So I guess the next question you'd probably ask is, how do I find my guru? Well, really, remember this, that when you are ready, the teacher or the guru will show up. So you have to do the work first, and then there's something about you intensely moving towards the light that the guru will come down as if come down to you. If you're vibrating at a high enough level, will come down to you and pull you up so that you can merge with guru consciousness. And guru consciousness is nothing other than your own true higher self. And that's it for today's Wisdom Wednesday, and see you next Wednesday. Bye.